Why, hello. So, this is the monthly update for Pirate Software for May 2023. And guess what? I have an update out for Heartbound. Nice. So this just went live maybe, 2 minutes ago. And we have patch 1.0.9.59 out now, so we've updated from 5.8. We're just going to get into it. We're going to look at all the patch notes. So the first one is Sheldon's storyline has been extended. There's actually a scene at the end of Animus where you can choose which path you want to go through. And one of them is Sheldon, one of them is Shelley. If you go down Sheldon's path, it is now longer. I would have released both sides of this, but I want to see if the narration for it, like the narrative that I've crafted, actually feels good. So I'm getting community feedback from it, seeing what people feel about with this, and then we're going to kind of go forward from there. And if it works, then we're just going to do the same thing for Shelley. I've actually written all the dialogue for all of Sheldon's stuff, but I've only implemented maybe a third of it for this cutscene, so that you guys can get a feel for it and tell me if it sucks or not, basically. There's actually a ton of routes through it as well, so if you are wondering if it's got replayable content, it definitely does. Thankfully, there's a save point right before it, so if you do that save point and then go and play with it from there, you should be able to do most of the routes, because some of them are based on the actions you've performed throughout Animus, some of them are based on the way that you treat Sheldon. So, quite a few things in there, which is pretty cool. It's about I think it's about 150 lines of dialogue total that you guys can access right now. Next one is, a lot of people told me that they didn't know that there was a Twitch stream. I've been partnered on Twitch for 5 years, so I stream all the development live. We actually have a software and game development category that was made because our community pushed on Twitch for almost a year to get them to make it, so that's usually where I stream. And I stream every day, Monday to Saturday, from 1 a.m. PDT to about 8 a.m. PDT. And then on Sundays, I stream on YouTube. With that in mind, the game now has a Twitch button in it. So there's a button you can press to open up the Twitch channel and see the streams at any time. That way, you know, you can see it. You can see it because a lot of people didn't know. They had no idea that existed. That being said, from today, which is June 1st, to June 8th, somewhere around there, I'm playing Diablo 4 on there. I worked for Blizzard for 7 years. Diablo's my favorite IP, and I'm taking a vacation to kill demons. It will not delay next month's update, so don't worry about that. I've already got all that stuff kind of front-loaded. I worked my butt off the last 2 weeks to make sure that I had everything ready so that I could do this. Next thing is, we also have a Discord. I'm a Discord partner. The Discord is partnered and verified and all that. And we have about 5,000 active members in there. A lot of people didn't know the Discord existed. So now there's a Discord button in the game. It's up in the top left on the main menu. Same thing for the YouTube. We've got about 10,000 subscribers on the YouTube. It's got all of our monthly videos on there, some random tidbits of stuff that we've done through Heartbound, and then a bunch of gameplay videos for stuff where I've played things on stream. So now you have access to that too, if you didn't know there was a YouTube channel. From there, I've updated the language menu. So the language menu actually shows 2 columns of buttons now for all the different languages. I refactored it because it was written like garbage back in the early days when I first started using GameMaker. And we've added a button for PTPT, which is Portugal Portuguese. That is not implemented yet, but we now have a disabled button there so that when it is implemented, we'll just turn that on. You guys will gain access to the Portugal Portuguese translation. You're good to go. The other button you'll see in there is something that I've been talking about on stream quite a bit. I am going to be putting in a fan button. So the intention is eventually you guys are going to be able to do fan translations. Fan translations will have like a identifying watermark to make sure that if somebody puts something offensive in there, it doesn't look like we put it in there, you know, basic stuff like that. But the idea is that you should be able to put most languages in there, and if it doesn't work with the font that I've created, I want to put in a system where you can put in your own font, so you can play the game in your own font with your own language that you want to, and it should allow you to do this. All of the translation files, I'm going to be turning those into text files that you're going to be able to have on the outside, and then this button will work. That's something that's going to come much later, but I wanted to set up all the infrastructure for it now and let you guys know about it. So outside of that, we have a new song. The new song is actually in the latest cutscene, and it has already been added to the OST. So if you own the OST, you can go and like load that up right now. It should have a 98th song in it, and that is the new song there. I added a hashtag, or an octothorpe, as it's normally called, to the Heartbound font, so that should display in cases where there is an octothorpe, which normally there isn't, because I use them for New Line. So if it does need to show, it can show now. Number of facial expressions have been added for Sheldon. He's got a ton of different emotional ranges now that he just didn't have before. And that's kind of part of fleshing him out as a character and making sure that he has all the dialogue and everything that he needs. A bunch of smiling faces and laughing stuff and things like that he didn't have before. The game now works like fully on Steam Deck. We tried implementing some of this before, but there were some parts that were missing. The same thing for PS4 and PS5 controllers. We now have full support for that as well. That's all part of the same thing. I recently updated Champions of Breakfast to do that as well, so now both of our games have that. Under bug fixes, so Pocket Watch is no longer on the wrong layer after a sequence of the mines. A bunch of people reported this, like Pocket Watch is behind a tree. It actually wasn't like it's. I thought it was on its own layer. It was like doing a weird thing. In reality, there's a scene in the mines where the Pocket Watch goes behind the black screen when you're talking to the aspects. It never came back to the layer it was supposed to be on, so it just stayed there. So if you played through all of Animus, it'd be behind the trees. But if you loaded into Animus at a later point, it wouldn't be behind the trees. So it was a little bit weird to track it down, but it's fixed now. You can't soft lock while talking to Sheldon when he leaves the house. Some people found that if you ran across the house and talked to Sheldon as he was leaving the room, the game would just soft lock. Really funny bug, and that's fixed now, so that's done good. Let's see. It's no longer possible to soft lock by answering a question in the same frame it was asked. So this was a bug that was plaguing speedrunners, and I didn't know what was causing it, but if you frame perfect, answered a question that was asked at the exact same frame that it showed up on screen, it would soft lock the game. And this would only happen usually for people that were absolutely spamming Z and X and mouse click left and right as fast as they possibly could, or people that were using tool-assisted speedrunning stuff. And that shouldn't happen for you anymore. It didn't allow you to skip any content, it just ruined your run if you're a speedrunner, and that's kind of the stance that I have on that for the speedrunning community. I don't want to get in your guys' way, but I do want to fix things that are, they ruin your run. That's not fun. Hard lock, soft lock, stuff like that. Nothing else. Like, if you find an exploit to skip a bunch of content in the game, do it up. You're going to keep that forever. Let's see. Credits no longer fails alignment if you pause during it. So this is really weird. If you pause during the credits, all of them would go to the left, which that's fixed now. Fern no longer talks outside the box when it all goes wrong. So if you're on a specific route with Fern, her text would go outside of the box. Doesn't happen anymore. Hashtag in names no longer cause new lines on the credit screen. So some people's names in the credits, because it's people that backed the game early and stuff like that, had hashtags in them, those actually display now. It's actually the reason that I added the hashtag is added to the Heartbound font. I think that's the only case in the entire game where they display. A text box in Lunch Rush no longer breaks out of bounds. Yeah, it's just the cafeteria inside of the tower that's fixed now. Pause menu no longer shows the room behind it along the edges while moving. So we found that if you were walking diagonally and then opened the menu at the same time as walking diagonally, it would show the environment behind the pause screen. So that's weird, and it's fixed now. Lighting no longer remains on characters when a light is turned off while they stand in a light source. If you had Baron following you, and you were inside the house, and Baron was in the light coming through the window, and you turned the light switch on, Baron would still be lit up, as if he was still in the light from the outside. Really weird, but it's fixed now. That's a neat one, so thanks for reporting that. It's very, very strange. Neat edge case. Screen shakes no longer break lighting in Animus. Yeah, that's basically it. It was showing the darkness layer was not displaying correctly, and basically it was showing the undarkened background behind it whenever the screen would shake. Cursor no longer goes into the language menu. That's fixed. Fix an animation pop for Sheldon when turning and Shelly when turning. That was caused by incorrect frame order on their turns. That was basically it. It's like they'd go to turn and it would do like a weird snap where they'd move. It's very strange. And then I fixed a pixel on the volume slider. If you watch the streams, you'll know what I'm talking about. And thank you for reporting that. It is definitely fixed now. 100%. Absolutely. Oh, but yeah, that's it for Heartbound. This is all the stuff that's out now. This is not planned. This is out, so you can go and watch it and do it now. And I hope you guys have a lot of fun with it. Outside of that, I'm going to be playing Diablo in, let's see, how many hours? Oh my god! So it's 3 hours and 24 minutes left. I hope you guys have a blast with Heartbound, or if you're playing Diablo 4, I'll be on there as well. And that's it. That's basically all I got going on. Yeah. So, hope you guys have a wonderful time. Bye, everybody.